The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's host, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Their souls. Please touch each and every one of them. Thank you again. Let us have a great show, dear Lord. Keep blessing us each and every day as you have been, and we look forward to another great tomorrow and another great week. We ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, and the congregation says,
Amen.
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 Let us stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How appropriate.
Well, it is what it is. You guys support real quick, brother. We're going to hit this hard and heavy.
Yeah.
No politics tonight. Straight sports.
Straight sports.
Yes, sir.
Straight sports.
Straight sports.
Yeah, so what we got on tap for sports tonight?
Boy, I tell you what, I've got a lot of everything. Hey, college football, Heisman Trophy, NFL football, NBA. Hey,
I heard something about the Heisman Trophy actually did something that they haven't done in a very long time, too.
That's exactly right. We'll get into that.
Yes. All right.
What you got?
We, the people, are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert the Constitution.
Let me see. I'm going to stat. I'm not sure. I'm going to say that's our 60th president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln.
That was going to be my guess.
Was that going to be your guess as well? All right, you can ride along with that if you want. I'm not sure if that's right, though. Michael?
I was going to say that was a quote came directly from Byron Bagwell about 10 seconds ago.
I was going to say that too, so I'm torn. I'm going to stick with Abe Lincoln.
I can't take credit for that one tonight. That is actually Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. I feel like I just made 20 yards.
How many times have you seen me post that?
I know it is. You got to be able to remember all those. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in On the Spot with David Rodgers. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Byron, glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
I've got Mr. Mitchell Gunner absent tonight, but he'll be back with us Tuesday. Mr. Dave Holland in the back here, right along in his referee shirt. Mr. Michael Heater. Have you thrown the flag yet, Michael? Throw it. Go ahead and throw it. That's a penalty on somebody. Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Saturday Night 360 right after this. And now here's the 360 taking you around the region with news and weather in 6 minutes. It's 360 degrees in 360 seconds. Brought to you by Southern Gem Photo Booth. Call 904-263-6079 and let Megan not only bring fun to your event, she can make it, Byron. Picture perfect. We begin tonight in Marion County, where a 17-year-old girl from Anthony was shot and killed yesterday due to her boyfriend playing with a firearm. The victim's boyfriend was arrested, and the investigation is continuing. An Ocala man who works for Spectrum Cable and Internet Service was jailed last Monday after being accused of ripping off merchandise from Walmart at least 20 times. Are you kidding me? Sometimes while wearing his uniform and driving a company vehicle. Good grief, really? A 40-year-old Enoch Gray was charged with 20 counts of felony retail theft. He was released early Wednesday morning on $40,000 bond and is due in court February the 9th. Parents in Putnam County are in an uproar because of a revitalization plan proposed by Putnam County Superintendent Rick Surracy that calls for the closure of Melrose Elementary School. The plan also includes the closure of E.H. Miller Elementary, Jenkins Middle, Mellon Elementary, and Miller Middle Schools in Palaca as well. By right-sizing the district, or resizing the district, and eliminating excessive buildings, the Putnam County School District would qualify Byron for special facilities funding from the state to construct new state-of-the-art facilities. Now, see right there in uproars, a couple of things going on there.
The only problem I would see with that is
That's it. By the end of a 10-year plan, Putnam County would boast 9 brand new school facilities, as we just stated, for faculty and students. The proposal would also require a bond on referendum. Also in Putnam County, after 7 years of service to the community, K-9 Deputy Putnam retired from the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. K-9 Putnam, which is the dog's name, by the way, had helped locate about 30 people over his career, in addition to finding drugs and stolen items. Flagler County deputies are still searching for a suspect after a violent home invasion in Bunnell after the victim was pistol whipped and held at gunpoint. The suspects took $2,200 in cash and 2 guns before driving away. 3 suspects were pulled over and subsequently arrested, but a 4th remains at large. Hawthorne Mayor Matt Sorensen announced on Friday that Alachua County Public Works will begin repaving and improving County Road 219A between Hawthorne and Melrose starting in the next 2 weeks. The project has been a priority for residents in eastern Alachua County as the road surface has been in poor condition for a number of years and does not have the wide shoulder area that creates a hazard for cars and leaving the roadway and overcorrecting. In addition, construction continues also on State Road 21 between Melrose and Keystone Heights in Bradford County that includes ongoing daytime lane closure. The work is scheduled to conclude by July of this year at a total cost of $6.9 million. And finally, there's a grassroots effort underway to bring a cornhole tournament to start. Several in the community have expressed an interest in forming a cornhole event and possibly creating a league to include on the spot with David Rodgers' team right here, which we'll talk about later. There are several widely recognized tournaments around Florida and the United States, and even ESPN has given airtime for these games. The interest has led to a Facebook group called Bradford Cornhole, which was created earlier today, and nearly 50 people joined the group within 3 hours of it. Nice. Anyone interested in joining and can find the group on Facebook? Send a message for additional details or check out the link on our On the Spot Facebook page as we are looking at putting together a team ourselves. All right, that is your 360. Now, here is your weather forecast.
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights.
Want to welcome in
Find
right
Austin's
now?
Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
Well, I want to welcome in. Sitting in for Austin Stevens tonight is our very own director. Bring it in. Here is Michael the Dragon Slayer Peter.
Hey, good evening, Dave, and thank you very much. A winter storm is making quite an impact across the southern Rockies and the southern plains this weekend with mainly heavy snow and hazardous travel conditions. The snow is expected to spread from southeastern Colorado across Texas and even into portions of northern Louisiana over the next 48 hours. One of the other areas of concern that we are dealing with in addition to that has to do with the fact that we're looking at an inland freeze with widespread frost coming across the region tomorrow morning. Even for the coastal locations of Florida, Sunday will be another chilly day with highs once again in the 50s and starting to moderate as we go through the rest of the week. Back to you, Dave.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. That is your weather forecast brought to you by Austin's Weather Service. Thank you. And now, our newest segment that brings back a little history brought to you by our great media partners, Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Bellis, and the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan, Elizabeth Tillman, Mark Crawford, and of course, Cliff Smelly. Here's What's the Date? These are the headlines from the Bradford County Telegraph during the first week of January in what year? Number one, Etheridge becomes new sheriff. Start Walmart, open date set for February. And JV basketball team defeats Ocala Forest. Was it January of 1988, January of 1989, or January of 1990? Again, Etheridge becomes the new sheriff. Start Walmart, open date set for February. And the JV basketball team defeats Ocala Forest. Was it January of 88, January of 1989, or January of 1990? Ken Etheridge was sworn in as the sheriff of Bradford County at the end of Dolph Reddish's tenure. He was the 18th sheriff to hold office in Bradford County since 1881 while I was riding with the Pony Express. A grand opening was planned for February for the new Walmart store with rentals of 25 spaces in the shopping center, filling up fast, according to Walmart management. And the Tornado Junior varsity basketball team defeated Ocala Forest by 2 points in a highly contested game. The team went to 1-1 after the 59-57 victory after losing a heartbreaker to McClenny by 1 point several days earlier. Wow. What's that? Or Etheridge becomes the new sheriff. Start Walmart, open date set for February. And JV basketball team defeats Ocala Forest. Was that January of 1988, January of 1989, or January of 1990? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the show. Here's where you get a chance to play. This is one of our favorite segments, Byron. What's the date? I know that you have gotten some great guesses, done some great things with it. I think you've missed 2 or 3 times, haven't you? Maybe? Since we've been doing this. But here's your chance to win a possible $25 gift card. And Chuck Snowy was our first winner in November. And who was our winner in December? That was Miss Shirley Bagwell, wasn't it? That's exactly right. And right now, I believe we've only got 2 or 3 people in for this month with 3, right? Sharon Pettiprin a couple of times. And who's the others? I'm trying to remember. We'll get back with you on that. But here's your chance to guess on what's the date. Again, welcome into the show. We've got a lot of things going on. This is, ladies and gentlemen, I know I had a lot of hits saying, are we going to get in some politics tonight? No. Straight sports on Saturday, Byron. We don't do enough of it. I think we need to get into some of it. We'll get into that on Tuesday night.
Oh boy, and there's a whole bunch.
There is a bunch of it, and we've got a lot to bring you. So I'm going to let you get the first guess, even though yours don't really count for the prize. What do you say?
I'm going to say 88.
You're going to say 88, okay? Dave Holland.
I'm going with 1990.
Okay? Michael Heater.
Actually, since I have a little bit of knowledge on that one,
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything
You're
else.
going to reserve your opinion?
I'm going to reserve my opinion, but I can tell you that, boy, have we got some great guesses coming in tonight from all over the place.
Wow, okay. Well, I'm going to get into a couple of them right here. I can't guess because I know the answer. So, welcome in Vincent Tucker. Welcome in Austin. Randy Brooks, welcome in. Welcome in Mary. Gail. Vincent Tucker. I do believe we fixed the sound. Welcome in Denny Ray Randolph. Sharon Pettiprin. The model, Sharon Pettiprin.
Yeah.
Pepper Autistic's on. Miss Shirley Bagwell's on. Benny Jackson's on. Will Smith. Yes, we got the audio fixed. Mary Rainbow Tree's on. By the way, Mary's got her own little show that she does. She does a little makeup show. She'll be going live at 10 o'clock tonight. So if your ladies want to tune in to Mary's live that she will be doing at 10 o'clock tonight. Raymond Noe's on. Randy Brooks is back. Here we go. Angie Hopkins is on. Charles McKinney's on. Will Smith says, go Big Red. I feel you. Jimmy Langley, hello to you, sir. Nice and cool down here in the Bahamas. Hey, it's nice and cool up here too, Jimmy. I tell you what, you ought to give us an invite to come to the Bahamas so we can do a show from the Bahamas. Donald Stevens is on. Janet Rawls on. Archie Waters is on. Donald Stevens is on. And I agree, Donald, not going to read that one out tonight, sir. Noah Gibson's on. Jason Vaught's on. Bill Edgerton, greetings from Gulf Breeze, Florida. Will Smith with the Tornadoes on, all right. Benny Jackson's on. John Dwayne Allen's on. Chuck Smith's on. Charles McKinney's on. Yes, I agree, Charles. Anthony Black's on. Dwight Allen. Hope to see you tomorrow, man. I'll get back to you with you and Byron on that one. Tammy's Testone's on. Say hello to Albie.
Hey, Albie.
Hello, Albie. David Rodgers is on. Praying we have no difficulties tonight. We are as well, Sharon. Vincent Tucker again. All right. Yes, we're going to talk about that, Jason, at a later point. Michael, why don't you start with the guesses?
All right, so we got some great numbers coming in here. Dwight Allen started off at 88 and shifted gears and went to 89. I don't know if he knows something that we don't know.
Okay.
Jason Boyd said 88. Will Smith, 1990. Archie Waters, 89. Pepper Autistic, 88. Shirley Bagwell says 1990. Roy Jackson, 88. Randy Brooks, 88. And Edward Pettiprin, 1990. Sharon says 1990. Benny Jackson, 89. Donald Stevens, 88. And Tammy Tedstone said 89.
All right. Anthony Black also with 1990.
And Vincent Tucker with 1989 as well.
Yep. David Holland Jr. is on. Donald Stevens is on. Like we said, Greg Rolls on. Diane Tomlinson. Jeff Riggins. Stephanie Smith's on. Hello, Steph. Joe Gordon, we said hello. Stephen Weatherlow's on. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate a little Bradford deal going here. Coach Steve Hort. I hope you're feeling well, sir. Glad you can join us tonight. And Charles McKinney said 1988.
Yep.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into David Rodgers sports special tonight. This is what we usually do on Saturday night. To my left, my compadre, my good buddy, Mr. Byron Bagwell. Back over here in the back there with the long pretty hair is our producer, Super Dave Holland. Over here to my right, he just started to do the weather and call out some dates. Our producer, Michael the Dragger Slayer here. And of course, Mr. Mitchell Gunner could not be with us tonight, but he will be back on Tuesday. Are we ready for an answer? Are we ready?
I think you're ready.
All right. Let's do. You want to read it one more time, or should we just drum roll it?
Yeah, we can do it one more time.
All right, let's do it one more time, just to see. Etheridge becomes new sheriff. Start Walmart open date set for February. JV basketball team defeats Ocala Forest. What's that? January of 88, January of 89, or January of 1990? You have just a quick second to get your answer in. One quick second. Nobody else? Drum roll, please. And the answer is, wait for it, Byron. Bam! January of 1989. Hope you're liking the new format, and we're getting ready to start the Saturday Sports Special. And look at here. Archie Waters is in. Dwight Allen's in. Benny Jackson's in. Tammy Testone's in. Vincent Tucker's in. And, hey, we're going to give it to her. It was scrolling in. Liz Hillary Holland's in. So we'll get Liz in there. Great job for the 1989. 1989. Guessers, Pepper Autistic went.
Yeah.
Oh, she's crying with the tiger there. I'm sorry, Pepper. You'll get it one day. You're not from here, so it's hard when you're not from here, right, Byron, to really know what's going on. And it's a guess by all of us, to be honest with you.
Well, I was in high school and I was trying to remember which year that was.
Yeah.
And I knew it was either 88 or 89. I knew it wasn't 90.
The thing about
Right.
it is what throws people off is that the election was in 88. The
Yes.
planning for the Walmart was in 88. So the changing of the year, and that's what happened last week, it does throw some people off.
Yeah, it does. I just didn't remember when I opened it.
Noah Gibson with the millions. He's got a question mark like, how the heck did we get that date? But anyway, hey, listen. Hey, we're getting ready to do some sports here. We're going to talk a little local sports. We're going to talk some national sports. We're going to talk some professional sports. Welcome in to the Saturday Sports Show. We haven't talked a lot of sports in a while. Know a lot of things are going on in America right now. Want a little break from that. Let's get to some sports. Let's get some feel-good stuff. And I want your opinion on a lot of things tonight. Because I know we've bantered back and forth. And I want these two guys' opinion too. But I also want you, the viewers' opinion, because we have a lot of things to delve into, a lot of questions I want to ask you guys, see if you agree. And again, welcome in to the sports section of this show. So we're going to start off, Byron, with the Heisman recap here. So y'all know on Tuesday night, we had a new player go into the Heisman, if you want to call it fraternity, as they like to call it. And that player was Devontae Smith, wide receiver of Alabama. I told y'all about 3 weeks ago that I thought that Devontae Smith deserved that award, Byron. I know we had some different players and some different things. I think the Heisman Committee, the sports writers, everybody who's got a vote into this, I think that they made the right choice in this. I'm going to read off some of their statistics and some of the things that they've accomplished throughout the year. So it was actually Devontae Smith 1, Trevor Lawrence 2, Mac Jones 3, and Kyle Trask 4. Now, I don't know if y'all agree in that order. I think they got that right too. With the exception, and you're going to be crazy, I'd have flipped Mac Jones with Trevor this year. We're talking about this year's Heisman.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with any of the first three at all.
Right.
I don't have a problem with any of those at all.
So what do you think, personally, what do you think about Devontae Smith winning that award?
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I wouldn't have had a problem with any of the first three winning.
I gotcha. So
And then the Gator fans are going to be upset about me saying I've got a problem with the last one, but you can't lose games like they lost.
3 games in a row and expect to still be in the Heisman talk. No.
I mean, you just can't do that.
Now, a lot of that was not Kyle Trask's fault.
Well, no, that's not.
No,
And
yeah.
I understand that.
Right.
But at the same time, they're not
Yeah.
going to give you that Heisman
No.
trophy after that big loss.
Dave, you agree with that? Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama, most electric player in the country, deserving of the Heisman.
I've seen a lot of video on him. That guy's tough now. He is amazing.
Yes. Michael?
Yeah, I would, as much as I would like to say that I'd like to be rearranged, I think they really got it right here. I think Devontae Smith was the best call. I know you've got some additional information on him.
Right.
Believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was, I'm trying to remember now, was it Desmond Howard?
Desmond Howard was the last one. I'm going to read that off.
I was going to say, I thought so. So, yeah, I think they got it right this time.
All right. So, again, congratulations to Devontae Smith. Go ahead, Mike.
I will say he's not Desmond Howard, but that's another story too.
Well, now, or is he?
Okay.
That's a good point before we get into that. Or is he?
How many
Now, you
times?
got to remember, Desmond Howard played in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, when there was, and I'm not saying there isn't now, there was some heck-acious football players there.
Yeah, the rules were different too.
Rules were different with the targeting and all this stuff and all that. He played in a system at that point where you were transitioning to the fun and gun style that Steve Spurrier brought to the game.
Sure.
The West Coast offense, I like to call it the no coast, but some things made it work. Desmond Howard played at Michigan and still got those numbers with a running team.
Yeah.
Remember, Michigan used to pound the ball down your throat.
Down your throat. Well, the other thing is
Yes.
this conspicuously missing from the list of Fonnie Smith.
Yeah.
Is what? What also did Desmond Howard do for Michigan?
Well, and we didn't add it in here, and I will. He punt returned as well.
Yeah.
So does Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is a punt returner as well. So we should have listed him as a wide receiver / punt returner. Want to welcome in Billy Rayberg. Raymond Noe also agrees they got it right. Opinion on the XFL for Noah Gibson. We'll get into that a little bit. I've got a little bit on that as well. Let me read you a little something. I'll tell you what, Byron. Why don't you read about Devontae Smith?
Sure. Devontae Smith, he led the FBS receptions 105, receiving yards 1,641, and receiving touchdowns 20. He has dropped only 2 passes all season long.
And still got a game left, which we're going to get into. That's just to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still got a national championship game we got to play. And, of course, we're going to talk about that as well. And you said it. The third Alabama player to claim college football's most prestigious award and the first receiver to win it since Michigan's Desmond Howard in 1991. That's a heck of a class to be in, Michael. There's no doubt about it. All right, Trevor Lawrence. Man, what can you say about this kid? This kid came in as a freshman, won the thing as a freshman, right? He won the national title, beat Alabama as a freshman, lost to a great LSU team last year.
Yep.
There was no doubt, Byron, that team was dynamic. No matter how the game went, how we thought it was called, LSU was a dynamic football team.
they were dynamic last year.
Yeah, last year.
Last year.
Yeah, and then, of course, them losing a game to Ohio State. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that are still on. I didn't think that would happen. I got that all wrong, Byron, and I'll admit when I'm wrong about something, I actually thought Clemson was going to win that by 3 touchdowns. And, boy, was it the opposite way around.
Well, when you eject their best player on defense from nonsense calls, at about the same time he got ejected in the national championship game, by the way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, when you're talking about James Skalski, the middle linebacker for Clemson, with the targeting call, I wanted to get with you guys on that as well. I see that you think it was sort of weak. I do as well. I thought he led with his shoulder. I know his helmet hit him in the back. You got to remember, these players are twisting and turning. Things are going to happen. Let me tell you what I don't like about it, Byron. You can call, if you want to call targeting, call it, give them the 15 yards, whatever you want to do. Don't eject the player, especially if it's not intentional. He's not sparing anybody. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to make a play. I want to get your guys' opinion. I think the penalty on targeting right now is too harsh.
Well, it needs to change because both the plays that he was ejected in the national championship game and his playoff game
Right.
changed the game.
Right.
He was affecting both quarterbacks at the time that both of those targeting calls where he got removed. And what you're doing is you're taking the best player off the defense and kicking him out of the game. So who knows who would have won that game if he would have stayed in it.
I want to see
really
what
have the national championship team, national championship team now. The targeting call to me is absolutely outrageous unless somebody actually bends their head and spears somebody. Nobody leans into them. They're not twisting and turning.
Right.
It makes no sense. I mean, the guy was not trying to hurt him. He was not trying to break his own neck.
Right. I want to see what the audience thinks about that. Welcome in, Mark Goody. Dwight Allen says, roll tide. Charles McKinney says they got it right as well. So I think everybody's going to agree with us. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback from Clemson, finishes his Clemson career third in the school's history in passing yards, 10,098. Second touchdown passes with 90. He announced this week he would be entering the NFL draft, and it's likely to be the #1 overall selection, going to what? Mine and Byron's team, and your team as well, too. Don't you like them as well? The Jacksonville Jaguars, which also we got some interesting news as well that we're going to go over. So I want to see how this all corresponds.
Well, he's going to have to use his running skills and all his rushing touchdowns. If he's going to play in Jacksonville, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that a little bit as we go on. Mac Jones, the quarterback for Alabama, finished in third in 11 regular season games now. Jones finished 250 or 327 passing. Byron, look at that percentage rate. Almost 77% completion rate for 3,739 yards, 32 touchdowns, David, and 4 interceptions. Isn't that crazy?
Amazing.
Man, that's just like playing backyard football, isn't it? Byron, go deep. Let me hit you. I got you. You birthday guy. David, go for a little short post pattern. I got you.
All these stats you're reading are the exact reason why I said that you wouldn't have a problem with the first three at all.
Yeah, no, none at all. None at all. Now, I want to get all the Gator fans that are on here as opinion of this, because I'm going to be honest with you. At the first of the season, Byron, when we was talking, we both said this guy is going
very well win.
Could very well win.
Sure.
And that's contrast the quarterback of Florida. Listen to these numbers. Not bad. 285 of 409 passing, 69.7, let's call it 70% completion percentage, 4,125 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And let's go back a minute. Think about those 5 interceptions. That really should be 43-2. He threw 3 picks in the Oklahoma game. That should be 43-2. Now, Trask eclipsed Rex Grossman, which was a heck of a quarterback at Florida, single-season school record, and became the 5th player in SEC history to post a 4,000-yard passing season. Now, I'll give you my point of view. I'll take these guys. We'll get some comments here in just a second. I wanted to ask, why do you think he finished 4th versus 2nd first?
The losses.
I fully agree.
The losses. They're not going to give a player, especially a player like a quarterback on a team that has 3 losses behind them.
I fully agree.
Not when you have teams out there that have players that have no losses right now.
Right.
And are still in the playoffs playing for a national championship. There's no way they're going to do that.
Right. So I agree with you. Dave, what do you think? What do you think about Trask? I mean, do you think that's where he should have finished? The Gators finished 8-4. Yeah. They took a pounding by Oklahoma. You're leaving the voters a bad taste in their mouth. Now, I know it's not Kyle Trask's fault. I know he threw the 3 interceptions. I get it. 1 to the house. We get all that. You didn't have all your receivers at the game, number 1. Number 2 is your defense hasn't been great all year. We've picked our defense apart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that he's made some changes within that defense. I hear Charlie Straw may be coming back to coach the safeties. Did they make a change with Grantham Mike yet?
Not yet.
Okay, that's still up in the air, but I know they're making some changes. And I think that's what let them down. I think this is right. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the problem that I have with this was that Trask is a talent. Trask is a talent that relies on the total team. And I don't think he had the time nor the ability, with all due respect, to adjust and accommodate to losing his receivers for the game. And as a result, there was just he had no chance. I hate to say that because I'm on the Trask train, but he had no chance of pulling that off because all his weapons decided to sit out.
I was on the Trask train. Byron, I think, was on the Trask train there for a little bit. Not that I like Florida, but I was. Hey, when I see a good quarterback, and I'm not saying, ladies and gentlemen, please don't take this. I'm not saying he's a bad player or a bad quarterback. No, I think he's going to go in the first round, probably later in the first round.
Sure.
Going to get a nice contract. Somebody's going to want him. I don't know if he'll be a starter. I think he'll be a backup somewhere and play probably a long time.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
I've got a question I want to hold
Sure.
off on for a little while
Okay.
until we get
All
to
right.
the NFL
All right.
about the three quarterbacks that are going in the who were 1, 2,
Okay.
2, 3, and 4.
And 4. That's exactly right. So again, Raymond says he agrees with the Trask name too many losses. Bill Edgerton says games are played after voting. Yeah. Here's the problem with the Heisman I got to, Bill. I'm glad that you said that. I've got a problem with the way the voting occurs. I think the voting should occur after. I don't think a player should be picked till after the whole thing's over. Now, if that top player is not playing in a national championship game, I know where you're going. If that player is not playing in a national championship game, and let's say they got a loss to that eventual national champion, and that player is still better than any of the other players that are playing there, I think you can still go. But I think all the games should be played before your Heisman vote gets in. That's just my personal opinion because, again, what if Trask has a phenomenal season, okay? And let's say he loses the Texas A&M, that's all, okay? They win that bowl game, they're 10-1, 11, whatever they are, okay? Devontae Smith has got those numbers as well. So those two big players would be going neck to neck. Well, guess what? Devontae Smith has still got one more game, the national championship game. What if Devontae Smith goes out there and catches 10 catches, 185 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a punt return for a touchdown? And you've already voted, and the voters have already voted for Trask. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, now let me take it the other side of the coin now.
Okay.
Does that not put a disadvantage because you've got players that I agree with where you're going with this one. And
Right.
Bill Edgerton, he's on board with you on that one. My only concern is that it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't level out the playing field. You should be able to say that from the second game of the season to the 8th or 9th game of the season, this way every player eligible for the Heisman is played the same amount of games, and you base it on that. You're not getting one player that's got an unfair advantage. Yes, he deserves to play for the national championship. Yes, he can pad his numbers or whatever he wants to do.
Right.
But does that take away from the fact that the individual is going to suffer because the team didn't perform to the level of another team? That's my debate on that one. Not saying that I agree or disagree, but I think that I think if you're going to do a legitimate across the board individual vote for a Heisman winner,
Right.
then everyone should be on equal footing. It should be X number of games during a certain part of the season, and your performance is based on that time frame, not because somebody got 2 extra games going into the Rose Bowl and then into the national championship game because the other players who could probably perform just as well didn't get the opportunity because they were padding their numbers.
Now I'm going to give you my rebuttal.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And I'm going to, because that is great what you said, Michael.
It's really truly a great thought.
Yes, it is.
It really truly is. There have been players that have won the Heisman Trophy without winning a national title.
And most of them have been in bowl games, but they haven't won a national title, and the votes were in before the bowl game actually started. And for some reason, the last running back from Wisconsin is one that comes to mind. Dane.
Ron Dane. Okay, yeah, okay.
His numbers were so beyond everybody else's that there was no doubt who they were going to give
the trophy to.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Right. So,
but when you have played 4 players that are this close,
right,
in stats, and there's still somebody playing.
Right. See, that's boy, I tell you. Okay, let me ask this, and to all the Florida fans. And I'll ask you too, Byron, we're Florida State fans. Me and Byron ain't got no beef about it. Everybody knows that. I'm going to ask you guys something, and you guys on there. Where would Najee Harris have finished had he finished that? Okay, which he finished 5th already, Bill. He was behind Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Najee Harris. He's going to be a special player in the NFL. There's no doubt. He's got the build. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. When you can jump over a 6'1" quarterback, get ready to make a tackle, and you keep going for 20 more yards, you've got my vote for something there.
Don't do it in the NFL.
Yeah, please don't do it there.
Don't do it in the NFL.
Don't do it there. But I will say this. I think Najee Harris, if it wasn't for the way that Alabama runs their offense and has that wide openness to them now. Oh, and by the way, and I'll get into that, Jalen Waddle's coming back like they need another weapon. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's Alabama. So anyway, Najee Harris would have probably finished in the top 4. He just didn't. He got the touches, but he just didn't have like the explosiveness plays. You know what I mean? Like a Devontae Harris did, or where Kyle Trask is throwing it 70 yards down the field. You bring up a good point there, Bill. Paul Hornung won it on the 2-8 Notre Dame team. Yeah, but hey, that was at a different era and a different time, and I understand that's when real football was played. But Paul Hornung, what did you say about numbers surpassing everybody? Even on a 2-8 team, Paul Hornung was Mr. Everything for him. I even think he punted for him. I think he was the punter, the kicker. He played running back. He played it all. He was almost like what do you call it? What we call an athlete.
He's just an athlete. He was just an athlete.
He was an athlete.
It's like the player that won it from Syracuse. I want to draw names. Can't draw names out of my head tonight. I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about.
He won it twice.
Well, no, you're talking Archie Griffin. Archie Griffin. Yeah. 74, 73, 74.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers were so much better than anybody else.
It didn't matter what the record of the team.
It didn't matter what the record of the team was.
Yeah. So he just highlighted himself above everybody. So I agree with you on that. So anyway, let's see. Tony Black agrees with the Dragon. Okay, hey, all right, then that's great. Receivers tries by bailing out, and that's another thing too. You're right, but even. I'm going to say this. Does Florida beat Oklahoma even with those receivers? The way that I seen Oklahoma play, I don't think Florida would have beat them anyway. Would the game have been closer? I think so. Do you think Florida beats them?
Yeah, no. I think the game would have been much closer.
Oklahoma has found an offense and a defense all of a sudden that I haven't seen in years.
The offense we've seen, the defense.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. So, just a quick opinion. Trask, if he only loses one game, doesn't go to the national championship game, does he win the Heisman?
No.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you the reason why is because of the other 2 quarterbacks.
With similar numbers?
Yeah. And how do you give Kyle Trask the trophy over either one of the other 2? Because the numbers are so close.
Right.
And then you also what you can do is you can look at the actual records from before. Mm-hmm. And I don't see how you give it sunshine to do that.
And I was just getting ready to say how you don't give it the sunshine as well. Dave?
Yeah, kind of agree a little bit with Byron there. But I got a viewer that doesn't quite understand the Heisman. selection, what categories does it take to really get your name into that list?
Okay, so, let me address Jimmy Langley's and then I'll address that. Jimmy Langley says players who leave and bail out on their teams should have to pay their scholarship back. Byron, agree or disagree?
I have a hard time with paying the scholarship thing back.
Okay.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. What I do agree with is an NFL team looking at them and going, I'm not drafting you.
You quit on your team.
You quit on your team.
Absolutely. Scholarships pay for an education, not for you to run around on a football field. If you graduated, then you earned that scholarship. You were there. Now, your performance on the field may have gotten you the scholarship, but you satisfied the requirements for getting the scholarship, ergo, you paid back. However, if I'm an NFL scout, you can bet I'm be like, I don't know when this is going to be a good player or not, because when the going gets tough, or if he just makes a decision, obviously I'm going to look at it personally and say, I don't think this guy's a real team player if he's going to bail out in the middle of towards the end of the season.
One of our running backs from Jacksonville that now is no longer there did that. And because he's no longer there. Why? Because it shows
character. And he's talking like this about Fournette. Now, he went to another team and he's doing good. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Somebody wanted to know how you get into the Heisman race, right, Dave? Or how the Heisman works. So here's how it works. So Devontae Smith wins it this year. So he's in an elite class with, how long they've been doing the Heisman? That was the 75th. So there's 75, I think it is. Yeah, 75th, right? Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. 75th Heisman Trophy. There's 75 of the greatest college football players of all time are in this fraternity. They like to call it a fraternity. So how it works out is you've got a bunch of college football players and college football teams that start every year. So next year, you'll have another group of guys, because these guys won't be around. Welcome in, Connie Wilson. How are you? Talking a little bit of sports, talking a little bit about how the Heisman works.
86.
Oh, I'm sorry, 86. I missed it. 86. You're right. So anyway, you get into this by becoming elite. Usually it's a quarterback, usually it's a wide receiver, usually it's usually not a wide receiver, usually a running back, quarterback, mainly quarterbacks, because they're the players that shine. So the award is based on really statistics. What you do over the year. Are you dynamite? Are you electric? Are you being featured on ESPN? Are you being featured every Saturday night on the biggest college football games? Also depends on your team, as Byron says. Hey, is your team ranked in the top 5 in the country every week? And you're showing out on this top 5 team in the country. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you get into the discussion. Then what happens is there's a bunch of players in this discussion at the beginning of the year. So as the year goes, players get hurt, teams lose, so that number dwindles. Then what they do is they put out like it's like a ghost poll to figure out in each region of the country. Mitchell Gunter,
welcome in.
What is going on, brother? Wish you could be here tonight. We're having a great sports discussion here. So anyway, talking a little bit about the Heisman. So if, Dave, for instance, let's say we start up with 10 players next year, by the time the year ends, we may be talking about 4 or 5 players. And then what happens is the sports writers and, of course, the Heisman Committee get the votes. So they'll vote for who they think is the most dynamic player in the country. And like I said, it's based on numbers. It's based on the team that you play on. It's based over a lot of criteria and certain things. Again, as Byron says, Trevor Lawrence played on a great Clemson team and never won the Heisman. Because why? Well, first of all, I really believe this COVID season messed a lot of players up, and it messed him.
It messed him up.
He missed, 1 or 2 games and didn't get a chance to pad and stat those numbers. And the one game that he missed, lost to a Notre Dame team that was, up there. That was right. You're talking about playing 1-3 at the time or 1-2, and you lose by 7 points in double overtime.
Well, so you look at all of this stuff, and you're talking about teams and playing and winning.
Right.
I think the greatest college football player of all time.
Yes.
Never played for a national championship.
Right.
Played bowl games, never played for a national championship.
Right.
Take a wild guess at what team he played for.
Let's see. I'm off the show. Go ahead. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the stuff. I was trying to get the comments.
Oh, I got you. Oklahoma. The player played for Oklahoma State.
Oh, you're talking about Barry Sanders.
I'm talking about Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
He is the best football player I've ever seen, period, on any level.
Right. I fully agree with that. And I got it back now, so I'll be able to get some of your comments. But I agree with you. Who was that question from, David? Was that from, I hope we answered it for him or her. I hope we answered it. Okay. I hope we answered it for him or her. So, well, you want to read that one, Michael?
Yeah, he got my response already.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what, though?
What?
I will say, you look like Thomas Jefferson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would take that compliment
I
any
will
day.
take that compliment any day.
There you go.
We're done.
So anyway, that's how that works. I hope I answered that for you in the way that I could. Let's move on to a couple of other things here. First of all, before we go, I want to mention that Pepper Autistic is on. Did y'all know that she owns a wrestling company called Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling? Her and her son are the owners, Richard and Marie. They have a wrestling show on February the 13th at Leesburg High School Gym. Starts at 5 o'clock. Tickets are $10 at the door, $5 for kids 10 and under. That's Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling. Show owners Richard and Marie Autistic. They are fans of ours on this show. They have a wrestling show February 13th at Leesburg High School Gym. Starts at 5 p.m. $10 tickets and $5 tickets for 10 and under. So see if you can attend that and help those guys out. Want to get into some other college notes? David, you ought to be happy about this. You ought to pay me, Byron, and Michael $5 a piece because Jim Harbaugh is staying with Michigan football after agreeing to a contract extension through 2025 at $4 million a year, increasing by $100,000 a year each successive year. Plus, there were some bonuses in there that with numbers we didn't even put in there. There was some added and said if he wins the Big Ten, he gets another $500,000. Wins the national championship, and there was some other numbers.
Yeah, in a nutshell, if he wins the conference, it's a $500,000 bonus. If he goes to a bowl game and wins the bowl game, it's $500,000, and it's $1 million bonus if he wins the national championship.
Right. So,
Yeah, well, you said Michigan, right?
Yes.
My response to that is go Ohio State.
You should say that. Do you know why? Because Jim Harbaugh is over for you guys. So Ohio State Buckeye fans should be licking their chops.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he's ever going to figure out how to beat Ohio State. Ohio State's getting way too many good players. I think he gets out-coached a lot of times there, especially toward the end of games. And to be honest with you, besides a couple of those games, Byron, they've been blowouts. Both Ohio State blew them out in Michigan and in Ohio State. So you're welcome, Pepper. So what do you think, Byron? Shouldn't Ohio State fans be really happy?
Yes, they should.
Yes, they should.
Look here. You are a better NFL coach than you are a college coach. Go back to the NFL. Sorry. I mean, it's a college opinion.
55. Raymond No Sense can't believe it. I mean, tell him again, Byron, what's it?
Okay, you are a better NFL coach than you are a college coach. Go back to the NFL. Quit doing this to your name.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, that should be some good news. I want to delve in also. I know where we've got a great show going on I want to go over a couple of news and notes, and then I want us to break down that national championship game.
Sure.
Man, I tell you, it's going to be a classic. I really do. But I want to see what you think. I want to see what you think on some numbers after I get it. Deal?
Sure.
All right. John Elway announced on Monday that he will be stepping into an elevated front office role and relinquish, GM duties for the Denver Broncos organization. Congratulations, John Elway. I'm going to say one thing to you. I respect you as a quarterback. I thought you was a heck of a quarterback. He came out with Dan Marino and those guys came out. Great quarterback. I do believe, sir, and I know you got Peyton Manning, and I know people may or may not disagree with me, and that's okay. We can tend to agree to disagree. When you let Tim Tebow walk out that door after beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, the #1 seed, totally by himself, and go at Peyton Manning, I think he made a mistake, especially for Tim Tebow's career, because once that happened to Tim Tebow, I think he was pretty much done with it. But and I'm not saying Tim Tebow's Peyton Manning by any means, Byron Bagwell, at all. I'm just saying he brings Tebow in here to turn that team around. He did. And how many games that year did he win by himself?
By himself. And I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, if I had the opportunity to bring Peyton Manning in, even at the end of his career,
yeah,
that's what I'm doing. Now, I would not have necessarily let Tim Tebow go. I would have used him as a future, but
let him tutelage under maybe Peyton. And I agree.
Well, Billy, kind of the way that's the FSU fan talking.
Well, and that's probably the Florida fan talking to the Tennessee fan too. So that would have been poetic. What did y'all think about it? What did you think about that? I just thought that John Elway handled that wrong. He could have kept Tim Tebow and
disappointed me. I mean, Tebow could have, if he stayed on, he really could have excelled, probably even past Peyton Manning.
The only thing with Tim, guys, and that's a lot to say there. Now, I will say this, though.
He never got the chance.
I think Tebow wasn't going to relinquish. He wanted to play quarterback, and that's pretty much it. People wanted to play him at tight end, little wing back, running back type deal.
Yes,
Tim Tebow already said he didn't want to do that. He says, I'm a quarterback. I respect that. Problem is, I don't know. If you want to make it a career in the NFL, there's scouts and there's people, there's coaches out there looking, going, hey, I know what you can do and what you can't do. You know, maybe he should have tried that. I don't know. I'm not Tim Tebow.
But there's another factor to that, too. You put Tim Tebow on your roster, who is one of the most beloved quarterbacks in probably ever.
Right.
In college football.
Right.
And you have somebody that's starting over the top of it. It doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
Every time they throw an interception or miss a pass, what does the crowd do?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly where you're going with this.
I'm just being honest with that. Where you're going to hear Tebow, or put Tebow in or something like that.
Because of his popularity. You're right.
Because of his popularity. And he deserves that popularity, but at the same time, if he's not a starter because he doesn't perform as well as the rest of the quarterbacks on the roster, it's not fair to your starting quarterback either.
Right.
I mean,
now we all know, Byron, Mitchell, you studied the game, Dave, you studied the game too. Tebow was not the greatest passer in the world.
No.
He didn't have the greatest passing mechanics in the world. NFL scouts said that's why he wasn't a high draft choice in the NFL as a quarterback, because he never really threw what you call a great or accurate pass. He got the job done. But, I mean, he didn't have the NFL arm, I guess is what I want to say. So anyway, we'll move on. The Jaguars interviewed Urban Meyer on Friday for his vacant head coaching job. Meyer is considered to be front runner to replace Doug Marrone. And let's see, another Byron Leftwich. That ain't going to happen. I will say that.
Who are we talking about?
Byron Leftwich to be the head coach of the Jaguars. You can forget it.
I know there's been 4 or 5 under the radar names. Byron Leftwich. But now, when you consider,
Please give me Urban Meyer first.
okay,
I will take Urban Meyer before I will take the mine.
but now you have to understand that Byron Leftwich has actually done fairly well in Tampa. Now he's had some big weapons to work with Brady and that sort of thing like that, and Jameis. But he is probably going to be someone who would be considered 3 or 4 years down the road.
Well, and let me tell you another job opening that Urban Meyer is also being considered for. That if y'all think Leftwich is one of the top coordinators in the league, could get, and that's the Chargers position. The LA Chargers position is open. They have talked to Urban Meyer as well, and they're not offering as much money as Urban Meyer wants. He wants $12 million a year. I think Khan is going to go between 10 and a half a year, which is way, to me, too much money. Urban Meyer has no NFL experience as far as being a head coach. Urban Meyer was a great college coach. He coached more than 2 championships. He coached Ohio State to a championship. He's led some programs up and rising and left them that way. But the problem is after about 2 or 3 years, he claims he's not feeling good and he's sick, and then he quits on the team. So now I know the NFL is not as rigorous as the college way. The college format, you have to go and buy, you got to go to these kids' house. You've got to sell yourself to mom and dad of these kids. Say, I'm going to take care of your baby boy. You know what I mean? He's going to be mine, for the next 4 years. In the NFL, it's going to be more lax. He doesn't have to do that. All he has to worry about is the draft, who he can pick up in the Bill Edgerton, hang on just says, slow wind up and release to Tebow. Yeah, and that's exactly what I said. You're right.
That's the honest truth. At the heart of the line, great athlete, but just not.
Yeah. All right, and I want to address that. Did Bill say the Jaguars hire a GM before the head coach? Is that Bill's question as well? Bill had an inside source tell me that Urban Meyer is not going to let that happen. Urban Meyer wants full control. He wants to be able to hire the GM. It may be a 2 or 3 head monster. That's what he wants. Y'all do know Urban Meyer is a big Urban Meyer hates to lose.
There's a one simple answer.
I'm sorry. No. Let me finish this.
Yeah.
So Urban Meyer hates to lose. Y'all know that, right? When he loses, and even if it's one game, it takes him months to recover from it.
Yeah, it does.
So in a 17-game NFL league where your team's going to play 17 games and you go 8-8, are you going to cry 8 times and be down 8 to 10 weeks out? You got that. That's the problem with Urban. Urban gets into these depression modes and he can't get out of it because of a loss. A loss ain't going to kill you, especially in the NFL. You've got times and you've got the chances to make up these games. You want me to prove it to you, Urban? You know who's playing tonight? Tampa Bay, 11-5 or 12-5 or whatever they are, get to go visit the 6-10 Washington Redskins that made the playoff.
Yeah.
6-10 as divisional winners. The number 4 seed. 6-10. That record, ladies and gentlemen, sucks. And I'm just
I'm glad you brought that back there. Thank you. Thank you.
Fine. Urban, you cannot worry about that. If you're going to be the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, there's going to be wins and losses. It's going to happen. Surround yourself with some good people, some good talent, and maybe you'll do okay. I think he will take Sunshine as the number 1 pick. Hello, Jimmy Sparks and Jennifer Weller. R.G. Waters thinks Urban would be good. I'd like to know why R.G. thinks that. Raymond says Jags needs more than Meyer. And you're right. Of course they do. And you're right. Does he take Trevor Lawrence? He's got some connection with Trevor Lawrence.
There's only one other acceptable pick for me.
And that's exactly right. It's the guy we just talked about, right? To bring back? Or no, you're talking about Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
The running back. Hello, Lisa Terry!
Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness. Well.
Before I lose this, the sappiness that we just observed.
Yeah, that little sappiness.
Back down, sister.
There is only one acceptable thing that I would accept from Sean Khan if he has control over who the GM is, and that would be to bring back a certain person that's been there that's won Super Bowl titles. The only way.
They're not going to do it, though. They're not
going to do it, so it's not acceptable.
Right. They're not going to do it because he's been there and done that, and now you're going to have Urban Meyer as his boss? How's that going to work?
I'm going to say what I'm saying.
You're talking Coughlin?
Yeah, I'm talking about Tom Coughlin.
That's what I'm saying. You think Tom Coughlin's going to come do that?
You think Tom Coughlin would actually let him be his boss?
No. No. That's why that's not going to work. So, Dave, Ohio State man, Urban Meyer was your coach. Good coach in college. I just don't see being a fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
I think they need to go after somebody else.
I agree.
Let me tell you, hey, the greatest college football coach right now in modern day history tried his little shellackings in the NFL and is not in the NFL. He's playing for a national championship game on Monday night. Nick Saban in Miami took a nosedive. Another guy that I respect a lot. I didn't like him because he always beat my team most of the time. As Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier tried his deal with the Redskins.
Yeah.
That went squash. So I don't know if you can sit here and tell me that Urban Meyer's the fit. Me personally, Byron, no. Let's go get somebody.
Yeah, I'll pass on Urban Meyer. I'll also pass on Byron and Sammy Leftwich. Well, I mean, that's what I kept on telling people. He reminds me of a cold ham sandwich sitting there in the pocket. That's what he looked like in the quarterback. Sorry.
I want to throw you something, and Byron's going to love this one. There's a guy out there that I seen today, and Byron knows what I'm talking about. Still looks young in the face. He is a great analyst. He works for CBS. He works for CBS. You know where I'm going. Don't say. And I think he can still get the job done. He would either be a good GM or a good coach still. And that's Bill. Let me tell you something right now. He's sitting. I think he's still. I don't know if there's anything alien or anything. I think he is smart enough. We already know Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Hey, he's done it with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's done it with several other teams. And he's sitting right there getting good analyst money, not having to take the hard knocks. Still got the smarts, and I still think I think that would be a great hire. Now, I don't know if he'd want to be the coach, but I think for a GM or something like that, I think Bill Cowher would be a great hire.
A great hire. I tell you somebody else that's out there that's not too old to do it, too, that's been out of the game for quite a long time and has multiple Super Bowl wins.
Jimmy Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
I'd take Jimmy Johnson in the New York Minute.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
There's a couple other ones.
Yeah, and they'd be great GMs too as well. So
Jimmy Johnson especially would be a great GM.
Bill Edgerton agrees with us. Urban would be a big mistake. I think so for the team that he wants. Jacksonville needs to quit spending money on a losing team. Get out of Jacks, maybe to Orlando, Billy Ray Murray. You know, they talked about this London move. You know, I don't know about the London move. Now, do I agree with? No, I don't want to see him go anywhere. That's my team. The teal and blue and black is my team.
The team is not going anywhere. They've got to fix problems as well. Yeah.
Right. Well, Billy thinks that Jacksonville is the problem. The city itself, and just the way maybe the support and maybe the fan base thing turning out because of them lose. Hey, give you a prime example. When the Cheeseheads lose, Green Bay or Pittsburgh, the fans still show, right?
That's not. Those are not good examples, though. Those are
But
two teams that are staying in the NFL.
well, they are. They're what do you call icons of the NFL?
Yeah, they're icons of the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree. Maybe that's not. So Raymond says Delaware would be a good choice. Absolutely. Hello, Billy Jackson. How are you? So I don't know, Billy. I think Jacksonville needs to do some upgrades. Me and Byron's talked about this many a times. They need to do several things there. I think some of the infrastructure, some of the things at the stadium need to be worked out. Byron, I don't know if I would leave it as an 80,000 seat stadium.
I would.
You condense it down a little bit?
Yes, and the reason is you wouldn't have blackouts at all. And
Correct.
People would start getting into it more than they have. I mean, that's just.
The only thing with Orlando is if you ever been to the Sippers Bowl down there, you have, Byron, that stadium is a piece of junk. I mean, I don't know where you're talking about. They would play. They would have to spend money on a brand new facility as well. So Charles McKinney says Urban will kill over. Oh, geez. Archie says Jags couldn't get much worse. Give him a chance, even though he's never coached in the NFL.
See, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think the coach that they have is a bad coach.
Yeah.
I think there's other problems there that they need to address. But that's just me.
Anyway, I want to get on to some other stuff. We'll get into some of that stuff later on. I want to get into some NFL real quick. Y'all do know it's wild card weekend. I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't watched hardly any of this. I just, get my stuff off of Sports Center and things like that. But for all you guys that are still interested in NFL, still love the NFL, that's good for you guys. I've got my own issues with it that I won't get into right now. We've got our own things why we don't like the NFL. But want to get into the playoffs here. Of course, y'all do know it's instead of 8 teams, it's 7 teams. They dropped one of the teams this year. So only the top seed, Byron, got the bye in each league.
Oh, because of Corona.
Yes. So, like, Kansas City was the number 1 seed over in the AFC. And then, is it New Orleans? New Orleans was the number 1 seed in the NFC. So, all the other teams are playing this week, including the number 2 seed. Because remember, last year, number 1 and number 2 got a bye. So, just number 1. Gordon Smith, let's see what he says here. Get there to you, Gordon. Michael, what did he say?
He says that the Cleveland Browns have never been successful. Left came back. The Jags are comparable to the Browns, but they are still relatively young.
Gordon, God, I love you. I agree to disagree a little bit. I think
have the Browns been to 3 AFC Championship games?
They were in 1, 2. Though they've been in more than that before the merge.
Well, I mean,
you're talking before the merge. You're talking about after the merge.
I'm talking about after the merger.
After the merge, okay.
Yeah, when it was AFC.
So, I think a couple of times there. I know Denver beat them a couple of times back in that heyday.
That was with
80 and 90 with Elway and the boys there, and that was with
Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, Sheriff, I tend to agree with you a little bit, but the Jaguars, to me, keep making idiotic picks on during the draft, and they never work out, and a lot of them don't. I should say a lot. A lot of them don't work out. And then we pay the price for it, and then we try to trade them off. We really get nothing in return. And, of course, here we go again. We're back in the draft again and trying to work our way there. What I think is the Jaguars have a $100 million cap that they can spend. Sure. That is that much money. Sure. I would say if you want to win right now, if Urban comes in here and was wanting to change the culture, and you want to win right now, you need to go and get some free agents. Spend some money and get some free agents. Jags fans' loyalty is amazing given how bad the team is. I think it stinks, to be honest with you. Bill, I don't hardly see any fans there anymore now. I know the COVID thing has a lot to do with it, but there's a lot of blackouts here. I don't know if you get a lot of the games over there because there's not blacked out in your area, but here, a lot of the games are blacked out because they don't sell the stadium out. So I want to disagree with you there as far as the fan loyalty goes. If there was a fan loyalty, you would see it, even though I know Byron thinks it's like Green Bay or Pittsburgh or something like that. Even if you're 2-15, they're still going to come out.
Well, the NFL is a different creature than what people of Jacksonville were used to before it got there. I mean, and you can say that about any town, but there's such a following of college sports in this area that what you've got an expectation of a team always winning. And that doesn't happen in the NFL. There's ebb and flows to it. I mean, you take a look at what happened right before Dallas won all of those Super Bowls. Guess what? They went 1-15.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there is an ebb and flow to the NFL that there's not college football.
Right.
Most of the time. Right. When you have a team that rises up, they normally stay up there for at least 2 or 3 years, 4 years.
Right.
You know? Right. And then they have a season where they're not as bad, not as good, and then they come back and it just bounces up and down, up and down.
Right.
Where the NFL, it can stay bad for a long time, and then it comes back in because guess what? You're going to make bust picks.
You're right.
You're going to make bust picks. I mean, you take a look at what happened with the Chargers and one of the best college quarterbacks.
Yeah, ever. You're right. And all of you guys have got great points, and I appreciate it. And I love this bantering back and forth because that's what this show's about. It's all about you guys telling us y'all's opinion. We'll give you ours. Bill, I agree with some of that. And with Gordon, too, I agree with some of that. And I didn't agree with some of it. You know what I mean? But that's what this show's all about. We have our own opinions. Everybody can get involved. And then we come up with something that's sort of close.
I don't always agree.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to go into the brackets of the playoffs. First of all, the number 2 seeded Buffalo Bills, which I think is a good football team, defeated the number 7 Indianapolis Colts in a great game this afternoon, 27-24. The Bills will move on. The Rams just got through playing. The 10-6 Rams beat the Seahawks at Seattle 30-20. So the Rams are moving on. So how about that? There you go. Of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are getting ready to play the Redskins. Tampa Bay is at the Redskins. That'll be at 8:15. Mike Qualls will be happy about that. And then tomorrow we got a slew of games. The number 5 Baltimore Ravens at the number 4 seeded Tennessee Titans at 1:05. That'll be a good game, Byron. Number 7 Chicago Bears at the number 2 New Orleans Saints. I forgot the Saints were the number 2 seed. My bad. And the number 6 Cleveland Browns at the number 3 Pittsburgh Steelers. That's at 8:15 tomorrow night on NBC. So I got to.
Did you just say Cleveland was in the playoffs?
Number 6 Cleveland. How about that? At the number 3 Pittsburgh Steelers. And hey, Cleveland beat them last week.
Yeah.
Cleveland beat them last week over at their place.
Well, they kept on monkeying around with that roster that they had. But they were going to win big.
Hey, did you know Byron Bagwell is watching?
I don't know how, because it just said I couldn't play the video.
Oh, goodness. But that's the way that the NFL looks like. Archie, you're not going to get any qualms out of me on that, even though I haven't watched hardly anything. The Chiefs probably will take the Super Bowl again. So if I miss New Orleans, who's the number 1 seed in the NFC? Who's going to leave out? Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay's the number 1 seed. That's right. Hey, Green Bay may have something that says that. Billy Rayburn says the NFL are spoiled brats and get paid too much money. Hey, I can agree with you on that. Bart? You're paid what you're worth in the market. These guys are getting paid.
Yep.
Do they whine and bellyache?
Well, that's a different.
That's a different story. So
didn't say they weren't spoiled brats. I just said they don't get.
Bill Edgerton says that disagreement makes it interesting.
Yes,
of course it does. So, Let's see. The loyalty of the Jack fans is amazing given how bad the team has been. The test will come when it's time to build a new stadium in a few years. Stadium has to seat 85,000 for the Florida-Georgia game. Well, that is true unless let's make the Florida-Georgia game interesting again and let's play it home and home. Whoa, does that make sense, Byron? I don't know.
And it makes for a better rivalry, too.
Yes, it does. I love the largest outdoor cocktail party. Don't get me wrong. Man, I've had plenty of, never mind. I'll leave it there. Plenty of, water. You gonna play the fifth?
Neither confirm or not. We will not go back. We will not go back 20 years.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I've had some good times over there in RV Park, and if y'all know what I'm talking about, that's a good time. But anyway, if they went back to a home and home series, I think that'd be better for the rivalry.
Yeah. And the thing about it is it would benefit both.
It would.
It would benefit the Jaguars, and it would benefit the Gators and
Bulldogs. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, Courtney Allen's on. The Ravens are the old Browns. That's exactly right, Bill. We didn't even talk about that move, how that has worked out for the Ravens. Wait till Biden gets through with us. They won't have no football. We're going to pass on to that, Billy, until Tuesday. Vincent Tucker's back. Did we lose him? Chief's going to take it. Possibly. Donna Souls, welcome in. Byron back. Everyone, welcome in.
Right, okay, come back on.
Yeah, there you go. The disagreement, yeah, man. Mitchell Gunner says hello. All right. Want to get on to some other things here? How about some people that we lost in 2020? You know, Byron, 2020 was a year of everything, brother.
Really bad.
It was. From sports to what's happening in our great country, to our music. There's just a lot of things that's happened, and we've lost a lot of great people in 2020. People like the ex-commissioner David Stern, Don Larson, baseball forever carved his name there. Sam White, who was the Cincinnati Bengals coach when they played the 49ers back in '84, I believe. He died at the age of 74. Rocky Johnson, that's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's dad, father. He wrestled. He was a wrestler. Yeah. So, Rocky's dad. How about Kobe Bryant?
Sad.
That is sad. His little 13-year-old daughter was on that helicopter. They were going to a basketball game, her basketball game, taking several people over there, and that's a shame. I thought Kobe Bryant was a heck of a basketball player. I don't think he was the best. He is a legend, but he wasn't the best. But that helicopter crash was horrible. Chris Dolman, I remember him from did he play for the Vikings? I think he played for the Vikings. Pro Football Hall of Famer Willie Wood is on that list. Tony Fernandez, one of the slickest shortstop besides the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. Nobody to me was better than Ozzie. But anyway, Mickey Wright, we lost. Roger Mayweather, he was a boxing champion, and he was his nephew is Floyd Mayweather, if I think that's right. So he passed away as well. Freddie Curly Neal. Who can tell me who he is, Byron?
No, I can tell you.
Hey, he was a famous Harlem Globetrotter. To me, he was the dude.
He was the man. He was the man.
He died at 77. Tom Dempsey, the man with a half a foot, set a new field goal record back then, 63 yards, I believe it was. But I think that's been broke now.
Yes, it's been broke.
It's been broke. But Tom Dempsey did it with a half a foot back in the day. So Bobby Mitchell, Al Kaline, Devarius Jackson, Hank Steinbrenner, Don Shula. Man, I love me some Don Shula. I used to love the Dolphins.
He was a great coach.
Yes.
He really was a great coach.
Yes, he was, I tell you.
But he lived a long life too. Don Shula was 90 when he passed, so not like he.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Mike Storin, Bob Watson. Who can forget about old Bob Watson? A heck of a baseball player. He was a general manager too for the Yankees, I believe. In 94, 95, 96, which one is it? It was one of those
96.
years.
He was the first. He was the first black manager to win a World Series.
Yeah, back in '96.
That was 96.
Okay, yeah. So, and that wasn't that against my beloved Braves?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, I believe it is. Was against my beloved Braves. Phyllis George. I used to love me some Dave. You remember Phyllis George? Remember the announcer, the sports announcer, the lady, the blonde, Phyllis George? Beautiful lady back in the day. Woo-wee.
She was Miss America, wasn't she?
Yes, she was Miss America. Yep, and I believe she was doing the NFL Today there for a while as well. Jerry Sloan, the coach of the Utah Jazz, one of Byron's favorite coaches, because he loved him. Some Garl Malone and some John Stockton. Yeah, great coach.
Great coach. I didn't know he passed.
Yeah. How about Pat Dye? Who can forget about Pat Dye at Auburn? A lot of information on him. He's the one that brought the Bo Jackson, Charles Barkley, and the Big Hurt. Frank Thomas, all in the same area between 80 and 84 and 85. So, wow, man, Wes Unseld, Workman-like Hall of Fame center. I used to love me some Wes Unseld too, by the way. He died on January 2nd with some health issues, had pneumonia. He was 74. He played for the Washington, when they were the Bullets. Yeah. Remember that? The Washington Bullets. Yeah, you know the Bullets. That's exactly right.
Still what I call him.
One of my favorite players from the Atlanta Braves, and he also played with the Oakland A's as well, was Claudell Washington, two-time All-Star outfielder, played 17 seasons in the majors. Lefty, he batted lefty. Man, I tell you what, he can clock it. That's for sure. Lou Olson, head coach of Arizona. How about that? I did not even know that until that graphic came up, that he had actually passed away. And another legendary coach right behind him.
I knew Luke had to have been pretty old.
Yeah.
Too. Some of these people have just died.
Yeah. John Thompson, how about another one from Georgetown? Wow. So he was in an epic game back in 1985 when Villanova upset him that night. Tom Seaver, great pitcher. He passed away as well. He was 75. Lou Brock. Look at these names, Byron. Wow. Gale Sayers, one of my favorite running backs of all time. Man, God, these names. Good. If you've never seen the movie Brian's Song, you need to watch that, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Gale Sayers story. Yes, with Brian Piccolo. It's really, really great TV watching if you want to watch something really good. Bob Gibson, again, Whitey Ford. Look at that. Joe Morgan. Wow. Dave, one of Dave's favorite players from the Big Red Machine, Joe Morgan, played second base. He was just an everyday player. And then he went on to become a great analyst and a great color commentator. Fred Dean, Travis Roy, Herb Adderley, several people here. Nancy Darsh, Tommy Heinsohn, Paul Hornung. Just talking about Paul. How about that? He was 84, Bill. Passed away on November 13th. Y'all remember the name Diego Maradona? He was the Argentinian soccer player that won the 1986 World Cup for his beloved Argentina team. Played over in Spain. He was a habitual drug user, I believe. He liked to use cocaine and stuff like that. It's a shame. Rayford Johnson, the decathlon in the 60 Roman Olympics, Dick Allen, Ray Perkins, Kevin Green. How about that name? Big Kevin Green. You remember him?
Yes, I do.
Wow. How about that next name down there? I was a big Atlanta fan, so I'm going to know this is Bill Negro. So, yeah, Bill Negro died as well. So, a lot of players that and people in the sports world that's passed away. Not only, and yes, I forgot one that just passed this week. Tommy Lasorda. Tommy Lasorda was a great GM, coach. He played when LA was actually in Brooklyn for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Yep. Then became the GM of the Dodgers. You're talking about a funny guy.
93.
Hey, he would kick dirt on the I remember this one time. I got to tell this one story. I was watching a game at Philadelphia. And you know that Philadelphia maniac, the Philly maniac that comes out there that dances and stuff?
I knew this story was coming.
Did you say? And Tommy he was making fun of Tom. He was making fun of Tommy Lasorda, just like dressed like him and making fun. Tommy Lasorda took time out before the game to give the crowd entertainment. This is the way he was, and chased the Philly fanatic away. It was trying to catch him, and then the Philly fanatic has this little four-wheeler, right? Four-wheel deal here, and he was going to ride off on it. Well, Tommy Lasorda chased him off, and he took the guy's little four-wheeler and rode around like he was the daggone Philly fanatic. That's the way he was. He just interacted with fans. So
he was a really good manager too.
Yes, he was. I tell you what, it's been. I can go over some other stuff just real quick. Tornadoes basketball. Oh, by the way, Adante Balfour, our wide receiver. Did y'all see the latest and greatest offer from LSU? That's, if I'm not mistaken, the count. I will double check the count. 22, 23.
23, I think.
Division I offers. Makes me fine if all that.
FSU is off there.
And Florida. That's not
Surprising.
2 schools in Miami. 3 schools in your backyard that didn't offer you. What is that telling you? I don't know. Somebody seeing something that these guys aren't? I don't know. Anyway, this kid's going to sign on February the 3rd. So good luck to wherever he decides to go.
Congratulations, too. That's a heck of an accomplishment.
Yes, it is. He's playing basketball right now. And, of course, let's see, what's tonight? Tonight's the night. They play Gainesville away. This Tuesday night, they'll play Hawthorne over in Hawthorne. And then next Saturday night, they'll play Eastside over in Eastside. So they've got about a 5 or 6 game road trip. You want to see boys basketball, you'll have to go there. Girls basketball, they'll play at home on Thursday night on the 14th against Buchholz High School. That game's at 7 o'clock. And then on the 15th, they'll be away, and they'll be at Baker County on Friday night, and they'll play at 6. Baseball season will be starting up for the Tornadoes as well. We got a preseason classic that's going to happen February 8th and 9th at West Nassau, Columbia. So that will be here, it looks like. So that game will start at 7 and 4. And I'll go over this as it gets closer. And girls softball, they'll have a preseason classic on the 8th and the 9th of February over at Union County, 6:30. Both of those teams should be really good. They were really young last year. They should be really, really good. Lasorda was the best. Green Raymond Noe. Lasorda managing Albuquerque Dukes. I was surprised somebody remembered that in the early 1970s. Bill Edgerton was there at that time. How about that? Bill Edgerton said that. Yeah, he was there.
Bill lived in Albuquerque as a youngster. No, I won't say how young he was, but yes, Bill lived in Albuquerque at the time when Lasorda was managing the Dukes before moving on to the MLB.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what, it's been a great show. I know we had a lot of comments here. I hope we answered each and every one of them. The Legacy Classic again, Championship Wrestling Show. Owners Richard and Marie Autistic has a wrestling show February 13th down at Leesburg High School. Starts at 5 p.m. Tickets are $10 at the door, $5 for 10 and under. If you want to go watch some professional wrestling, go down there and check out Legacy Classic Championship Wrestling. Also, Mary Rainbow has got a makeup show coming on at 10 o'clock tonight. If you want, for all you ladies that need some makeup tips, she has a great little show that she does. Go and catch her there as well. A really great show tonight, gentlemen. Thanks for a great program. Stay tuned, folks, because here comes Final Thoughts.
Tonight's Final Thoughts with David Rodgers, brought to you by Fun Point Food and Arcade, 1100 South Walnut Street in beautiful Stark, Florida. Fun Point is an all-in-one arcade and restaurant that is bound to raise your spirits, are sure to please your taste buds, and the games will keep you entertained for hours. Fun Point Food and Arcade, 1100 South Walnut Street in Stark. Feel free to give them a call at 904-966-3380. Make a point to visit.
And we're back here now with Final Thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a great time watching this show tonight with the sports route. That's what we're going to try to do on Saturday nights as we continue to move on into this new year, into 2021. As I want to leave you with a couple of things here. The year 2020 has brought us a lot of things, a lot of changes, and a lot of things that we've done with our everyday lives, to include sports that we just talked about, our everyday living, in our political realm, in our government realm, in our world realm, and everything that we do. COVID-19 has made some kind of impact, Byron, on what happens to us. Also, with the political and some of the things that's going on within our great country, that's brought a lot of change and some things in the way that, we view things and people do things. But at the end of the day, we have our own opinions and our own minds and our own thoughts and our own expressions. And as I leave you tonight, me and Byron, I want you to know that you should be able to express your thoughts, your feelings, and what you think about any subject, any topic, without any kind of discreditation coming back to you. We like to call that the freedom of speech. And the freedom of speech is one of our amendments. Which one, Byron? You can tell them.
A First Amendment.
That's exactly right.
There's a reason that it's the First Amendment.
And that's exactly right. So, I just want to, for you guys, as we move on to a new year, seems like it wants to rear its ugly head, Byron, from 2020 to 2021, as people see this past week of what went on in our great nation of Washington, D.C., some of the aftermath that's come there as well. I want you to take this thought with you. And I think Byron will attest to this, and maybe we'll get into some of this Tuesday night. I want you to take this with you and think over it the next few days. I want you to think as Americans, American patriots, if we want to call ourselves, people that believe in our Constitution, people that believe in this great country, people that believe in the ideas and thoughts of this great nation. I want you to think how we as people can help make the change that this world needs, our nation needs, our government needs. I just want you to think about that for a little bit as we get ready to do our great show on Tuesday night. And again, it was a great sports night, Byron. Just one, I'll give you one little final thought there that I'd like for you to talk to the audience with, and then, of course, we'll wrap it up.
I'm just going to give a little bit of a cliffhanger for my segment, Tuesday Night Show. All I'm going to say is this: it's me too. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
David? Michael, final thought?
Great show tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
All right. As we wrap up tonight, we want to thank our sponsors and everyone who tuned in. And remember, we're on the spot, so you can be too. Good night, everybody. God bless you. We'll see you Tuesday night.